Hi everyone, myself Bhagyashree and I am going to discuss and design a singleton design pattern, and for that from basic to advanced I can say. In the singleton design pattern what we have to do, what is the definition, what is the instance we are creating, why we are using with the real time scenario. So let's start with that. First of all we have a singleton as the name suggests, it containing a single instance. So as per the definition I have to go like define a class that has only one instance and provide a global point of access to it. That is the main definition of the singleton. And in other words, I can say a class must ensure that only single instance should be created and used by all other classes. So this is the core concept or core logic of the singleton design classes. In the app model, I can say we have these instances AM1, 2, 3, 4, and we are saving in a global variable instead of creating the instance. Like one of the example we are creating the logger, so that logger will use in every pages for getting the log for the error or for any result output what we are trying to turn it. So this is the variable which we are creating as a global variable for the logger purpose, and that object will be accessed by each and every classes. I can say sorry, the global variable logger name is Bhagyashree and I changed from 1 to 4 like given the text. So the problem is what happened. AM1, AM2 and AM3 are expecting L1, but in the they are getting the L2 value. So how to for this type of thing? Just we have next point like how to create the singleton design pattern. So for that we have a 4 rules which we have to be keep in mind while designing the singleton design pattern. First, it should be static member, so it gets the memory only once and contain the instance of the singleton classes. Second, it should be private constructor. Private constructor prevent to instantiate the class from the outside the class. That's why it should be private constructor. Third, it should be like static factory method. This provides the global point of access public to a singleton object and return the instance to the caller. So that's why we have to be created a static factory method. Then make the variable initialized by a private constructor. Access to a given by only a getter public method. So these are the key concepts while designing the singleton design pattern. Just given the example here, I can say singleton is for the white private and get instance method in the singleton in the public access specifier. I just create the two forms. First, we have a eager loading or eager instantiation. Second, we have a lazy instantiation. So in the first, we creation of instance as a compile time and load time. We know like early binding or easy, lazy binding or late binding. It is coming as a like compile time and run time. So we are also giving the alternative name of this early binding, late binding. So on this, the instance is created initialized only when app module call for it. And advantage of this, I can say save memory because object is not created at each request and only single instance is requested and reused again and again. So this is the advantage for the creating the singleton design pattern. Uses for this I can say mostly used in multi-threaded and database application, like we are having a logging requirement, caching, thread pools, configuration classes. So these are the like example which we have to be created as a singleton design pattern. In the coding, I can say code walkthrough. I have this class A. I created the constructor as a private constructor, and I have to be like second. Give an example like class B, where we are created the object of class A. In the code, like full code, I can say example. We have a static void main method and logger singleton object one logger singleton dot get instance. As I mentioned, with the help of get instance, we are getting the instance of the particular class for the designing where we are designing the singleton, and we are printing this obj1 as an instance of that. Similarly, for the object 2, we have created the new object for the same one. And next, we have a eager loading like compile time. So in this, as the name suggests, logger singleton, creating a constructor for this as a private static with the help of private static as an instance and created a new logger instance. Static because created only once in a memory. That's why we are given the static keywords and created the constructor for this. And as I already write the key point, we don't have to be pass the parameter on this private constructor in the singleton design pattern. Then after that, we have a get instance method for this logger instance, and we are returning with the help of that return instance method. Next we have a lazy loading. Similarly, I created here lazy loading, but here we are given the instance as a null and calling in the same login single instance. If we have a null, then we create the new. Otherwise, if already we have, we are returning that instance. So this is the type of the lazy loading. So we have to be know like which when we have to create the lazy loading, when we have to create the easy or eager loading, I can say. So these two type of difference you can see. And next we have a thread safety lazy loading. In this what we are giving, we are just checking if instance is not equal to null, then we you can see this we are given the like private static volatile long logger singleton instance equal to null just created and avoid the access using reflection. So that's why we are given here instance not equal to null, because sometimes what happen with the help of reflection this they are achieving most of the developer. So we can lock or we can make the thread safety for that property with the help of this one. So we are checking here instance not equal to null and returning the throw new runtime exception, because we are mentioning if there is already instance don't allow to create the another instance, because if you are a .NET developer or so you can know like there's a reflection property. So with the help of that also we are getting a similar one. So that's why we are returning here throw new runtime exception. Then public static logger single instance with the help of get instance. We are checking if instance equal to null, synchronize logger singleton dot class and creating used to block level, not the class level. And again, if instance equal to null, instance equal to we are generating the new instance from the new statement and the same class name new logger singleton. And after that, returning the instance. Here we are checking because only one thread should have access to these resources. So at the summary, what we learn in the singleton design pattern, it is like neat way to handle the access to shared global resources, easy to implement, guarantee for the one instance, solve a well-defined problem, and thread safety need to be ensured. So in the thread safety also I created the one of the block of code I covered. And notes we have to be keep in mind while designing the singleton pattern. Never pass a parameter to the constructor in a singleton. As you can see, I created 2-3 program. Never passes a parameter in the constructor. And pass a parameter in a constructor, then it become same as a factory pattern. So that's all about the singleton design pattern. Hope you got the idea and solution. And meeting you in the next video for the next design pattern. Thank you.